Hello and welcome back to the Anti-Aging Hacks podcast. Today, my guest is Povilas Sabaliauskas, who's the CEO and co-founder of Pulsetto. With a background in neuromodulation and extensive experience working with implantable devices, Povilas has made significant strides in the field of neuromodulation. Leveraging his deep expertise, he developed a groundbreaking, non-invasive vagus nerve stimulator called Pulsetto. Pulsetto is now rapidly scaling, and I'm curious about the device, so let's get started. With that said, Povilas, welcome to the Anti-Aging Hacks Show. If you'd like to get thicker, fuller, and stronger hair, then make sure to check out fullyvital.com. The team's come up with fantastic and natural products that help rejuvenate your hair, but also delay and reverse gray hairs. So if you're interested in better hair, go to fullyvital.com and use the code ANTIAGINGHACKS for 15% off your order. Are you enjoying the shows on this channel? Then please make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, so you can get notified when we release new episodes. Our goal with this show is to help you and give you practical tips that you can use to slow down and reverse your aging so you can live and feel younger and live your best life. With that said, let's get on with the show.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here. It's always good to know that this topic is more interesting for other people. That is, the key message basically from our side. And yeah.
Yeah, totally. I'm
Yeah.
excited to talk to you because this device that you've made is external. It's pretty cool. It helps lower stress and also stimulate the vagus nerve in a positive way. But before
Yeah.
we get started, give us your short background of what you were working with or on before you got into Pulsetto and how that influenced you to start this company.
So I would make it short. There is a longer story, but in general, I was working with neuromodulation in neuromodulation field with implantable vagus nerve stimulators, implantable deep brain stimulators, spinal cord stimulators, and organ transplantation. So I was like in neuromodulation field in general, and in 2020, basically, or 2019, my father became quite ill, and none of the physicians couldn't find any, let's say, underlying condition. But he was just degrading a little bit, time to time, and I was thinking, okay, maybe I can help because I have a lot of knowledge in neuromodulation and have a close relationship to the neuroscientists, neurologists, neurosurgeons, and I was asking, okay, how can we try to help him? And we came to the conclusion that maybe vagus nerve stimulation can be a viable option. But at the time, I couldn't find any solutions on the market. So, the implantable one costs around 27,000, just the device, also the implantation procedure, and it takes around 60,000 euros, something like this. So, okay, I double checked with, let's say, physicians and said, okay, if I created one, can this be an option? And, we came to the conclusion that it is. So I was building that device, but my father passed away, and that was tragic. And I put this project aside for a couple of years. But then in 2 years, I met my co-founder Vitalius, whose wife was suffering from cluster headaches. And one of the indications of vagus nerve stimulation is cluster headaches and migraines. And I proposed to him, okay, we can, let's say, try this thing that I was creating by myself, to create to your wife. And, he said, okay, we created the, let's say, like a proof of concept. And it worked, and it was, great success. It seems that, the first efforts were not in vain, basically. And, we helped her. So, my co-founder is very happy about this. He's like a business development and also biohacker himself. So, it was like, I would say, match made in heaven sometimes, love at first sight, I would say. So, this is how Pulsetto became to the fruition. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a very interesting
Mm.
story of you trying to help your father first and then your
Yeah.
friend's wife second. So it's obviously personal. How long did
Yeah.
it take for you to kind of perfect the device and the electrical stimulation within it?
So Perfect device, it's hard to say because, a lot of years were, in, let's say, like in research, in trying to optimize the algorithm and creating the technology itself. But, when we started, when we first saw the impact, we said, okay, we need a funding because we will not have enough cash or money or funding from our own pockets to create this kind of device. So we said, okay, we have a proof of concept and we need to have some money to create, let's say, like a viable MVP solution. So we approached several, let's say, like VC funds and etc. But one of them were Kilo Health, as right now we are one of the, let's say, like the first investors in us. So they gave us 50,000 euros and say, okay, build the first device. It's not our, let's say, like we do not go to the physical products. We are all app-based company. So they said, we're giving you 50,000. If you create the device, we will invest more. Because in general, for 50,000 euros, it's very hard to create the device. So, we from previous jobs we had a lot of expertise in that field because I'm by training a biomedical engineer. So I talk with some people. We created some models, a lot of iterations, etc. In 9 months we had like a first design of a product which was basically more or less how it looks right now, but 3D printed. And they said, okay, this looks very promising. We will give you more money. Now mass production has to follow because building one device it's easy, but building it for mass production it's a completely different problem to have. So we received funding. Yeah.
That's
And
great.
that is
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
It's great to hear these stories. Now, your device helps target the vagus nerve, which is a very central nerve in the human body, but a lot
Yeah.
of people might not know about what the nerve is, what the importance of it, and how it relates to the nervous system even. Can you explain for a few minutes what the vagus nerve is and why it's so important for us?
So in short, vagus nerve, it's like a highway of information between your brain and all your internal organs. So basically, via vagus nerve, all the organs receive the function, what needs to be done. So, okay, you need to digest, you need to optimize for stress reduction, you need to excrete some enzyme or etc. You need to lower blood pressure. These all things are done via vagus nerve. So if you are human body has two states, fight or flight and rest and digest. And usually if you are overstressed, you are in fight or flight mode, your body does not differentiate between artificial stressors and real stressors. And let's say in ancient times, you had to, the stress was basically you live or die. And right now you see some in some application some bad news and you say, okay, this is stressors, and your body tries to optimize your body to reduce the stress. So let's say your liver, kidneys, digestion is not working properly, your body is optimized for stress reduction, but there is nothing to reduce. You have to eliminate, let's say, apps or etc. And your body is basically on fight or flight mode constantly. And this is if you're constant in that mode, you might get burned out. Basically, this is one of the first ways. When you're activating vagus nerve, like we do via electricity, so we're sending the signal to vagus nerve via neck because it's quite accessible here. We're pushing your body into relaxation state. So we say your body, okay, you need to relax. You need to start the digestion. Your liver, kidneys, heart rate should stop, become slower. Let's say like this. And this is very vital because if you cannot switch between those two states, basically only during the nighttime you can switch to rest and digest, and your body can relax during the nighttime. And this is not enough. You have to constantly switch between two states during the daytime. So it's most important organ to, let's say, to manage if you want to manage your stress levels, I would say.
And that's the
Yeah.
vagus nerve. So that's very
Yeah.
interesting because it's controlling, like you said, it connects the brain to every major organ.
Yeah.
And therefore, all the enzymes, all the hormones are going to connect to these organs and basically controlling their function. And if you're
Yeah.
highly stressed and you're trying to run from a tiger back in the old days, which is what we think
Yeah.
is happening, we don't even know the difference. As you said, it's
Yeah.
important to kind of slow down, relax during the day, and most people don't because we're in a high stress environment all day long.
Yeah.
Stress is a huge epidemic now. Stress has been proven to cause all kinds of problems, blood pressure, which you mentioned, but also inflammation. It can cause hair loss, it can cause gray hairs, it can cause early aging in your body. It's linked to major diseases. So stress is a major problem, and we need to bring it down. Now, some
Yep.
of the ways that people have, prescribed individuals to reduce their stress levels has been traditionally doing more meditation, breath work, mindfulness, but it's challenging. The number one feedback or what I hear from people why they can't do it is because it just takes too long and they don't have the time. And so this is where your device could help. So you co-founded, and the device that you have is basically, for the people that are listening, it's a device that just goes around your neck, and it's got a couple of I guess electrodes or
Yeah,
metal
it has
points.
four electrodes on both
Yeah.
sides, so it creates electrical loop in one side and in the other side, and basically it penetrates skin level, muscle level, and activates some specific vagus nerve fibers. So vagus nerve has three fibers: afferent, which are going from the body to the brain;
Mhm.
efferent, which are from the brain to the body; and mixed. So we are activating only afferent fibers from the body to the brain. So we do not send any signals from the neck down. We're sending signals only to the brain, basically. Yeah.
What's the advantage of doing that versus the other way around?
So basically, we do not change any signals, to the heart, to the liver, to the kidneys. So I would say, imagine vagus nerve, those afferent fibers, like a wire. If you
Mhm.
are in fight or flight mode, those fibers are not activated. So we're activating externally them, and so basically your brain thinks, okay, my body is trying to relax, and
Mm.
it let's say, like, propels the natural way how your body should relax. We do not want to do some additional things. We want to just push your body into relaxation state. So it's in a way, it's quite simple mechanism of action, and
Yeah.
in our way, it's very complex because a lot of things are happening in the body. Because when you are activating vagus nerve, you get the signal to the brain, and that signal, okay, uh, let's say my body is trying to relax. I will excrete acetylcholine in the spleen to reduce the inflammation, and
Yeah.
by this you can go to various ways, and a lot of things are happening in your body which can benefit you in the long run. Maybe from one stimulation will not have, let's say, like a major effect, but doing for 1 week or 2 weeks, it will be measurable on some wearable device, on which we can talk later. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So now I
Mm,
understand. So
mm,
what the
mm,
device is doing is that, for example, when you sit your body down in silence, it automatically starts to relax. When you lay
mm.
down, your body starts to relax, and then the body then sends a signal to the brain saying, "Hey, it's time for quiet, solitude,
Yeah.
peace, relaxation." And so that is what you're mimicking to the brain, and therefore the brain says, "Okay, it's time to relax." So it sends back down its own
Yeah.
natural hormones and you mentioned acetylcholine and other neurotransmitters that help your body just rest, right? Rest and
Yeah.
digest.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. And
It-
you're able to do this with
it-
a device that you can
yeah.
recharge. It's like an app, right? There's an app on your phone, but the
Yeah.
device goes around your neck and it's got the electrodes that stimulate a little bit of electricity. Does it hurt or does it sting people?
So it's very hard to uh, say what can you feel. People ask us during some conventions, what does it feel like? And then we would usually say, okay, just try it. But usually it feels like vibration, and people say, okay, it's only vibration. But if you touch the device, it's not vibrating. It's, let's say, like high frequency signal which
Mhm.
penetrates quite deeply. It feels like vibration, so it's also like a soothing effect on that side as well. But I wanted to mention some things. You mentioned breathing exercises, meditation. But one thing is very hard, if you have kids, you do not have time for meditation usually.
Yeah.
So also you need to, let's say, do a lot of meditation to understand how to meditate. And it takes time, it's like a habit. You have to work on it and try to understand how it works. With breathing exercises, it seems it is quite effortless, but it's quite hard to do even 10 minutes of breathing exercises. I know a lot of people tried it, do for 1 week and say, okay, I do not have the time for it. So this is basically a faster way, let's say most frictionless way to try to relax your body. But
Mhm.
if you have the dedication of breathing exercises and meditation, you can do while wearing this device, while stimulating, so you get the effect faster. So it's
Hmm.
possible to combine and to have better results. Yeah.
There we go. You can biohack using the device as well and do more
Yeah.
with less time,
Yeah.
which is what we want to do, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the average user, or how would they use this device? Is it a few minutes in the morning and a few minutes in the
Yeah.
evening? Is it 5 times a day? How does a person use this?
So the baseline, we say, okay, 4 minutes in the morning, 4 minutes in the evening. It's a very good baseline. Everyone can, allocate 8 minutes, because usually when I stimulate myself, I wake up, make some coffee, read some emails, and during reading the emails, I stimulate myself, and going before bedtime, I stimulate also for 4 minutes, and it's very good, and usually people are measuring, let's say, like heart rate variability and etc., and they notice the baseline increasing. Let's say heart rate variability increasement means that, let's say, like one of your longevity markers is improving. So usually, if people are noticing it, they say, "Okay, can I stimulate it more?" Yes, you can stimulate it more. With implantable devices, you can stimulate up to 12 hours a day. With our device, you cannot stimulate that much, but you can stimulate 40 minutes a day, etc. It will not have some side effects. Max, you have red skin on redness of the skin, and that's
Mhm.
it. Yeah. So
Got it. Got it. So this is obviously for busy
yeah,
individuals that have a lot going on. You can, like you said, even read your emails or drink your coffee and do this at the
yeah,
same time. So that application makes total sense to me. Is it also recommended for people that are suffering from maybe depression or anxiety? And I don't want to make any claims, but I'm just curious
yeah.
if they're using it.
So depression, I would say it's a too severe condition to you can try it, but I would not recommend it, because it's like mm, it's a little bit harder to manage, because when I was working with implantable devices, I saw some positive things, a reducement of depression, but you have other things that you have to cover. So it has to be like a multidisciplinary approach with depression. With anxiety, it's amazing tool. Usually people with anxiety have low energy, and we stimulate your, let's say, anxiety levels drop, and some people are saying, okay, I feel burst of energy. It's not a burst of energy. You're just going to your baseline on which you have to live. And usually people get used to low energy and etc., and say, okay, this is my baseline, which is completely unacceptable, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, so
Mm.
who is the ideal customer for Pulsetto and who is
Mm.
not a good fit for using Pulsetto?
So ideal customer for Pulsetto, I would say we have two separate groups which are using our device, but for completely different purposes. So one is biohackers, which are doing more than usual person. They have all the wearable devices, etc., and they want to improve some metric or two metrics, like heart rate variability, reduce resting heart rate, improve sleep. So usually these people are very good for us, because we have trackable devices, and we have a API connection to all the wearable devices, and we can show in our application, okay, you stimulated here, you can see meaningful impact, and later you can see your trend lines. The first one, which are, let's say, early adopters, I would say, and the second one, people who are suffering for stress or anxiety, people with, I don't know, stressful jobs or day-to-day life, sometimes drags you down. These are people are trying to just improve their baseline also, but on our side, they want to just remove a little bit of stress. So they usually do not track anything, but I would say interoception is very important. Maybe some journaling apps or etc. How do you feel in the morning, in the evening? And you can track, okay, if I'm feeling better or worse. And the third one is a little bit on a, let's say, like a fringe side, people with head pain. And we know that our device helps with migraines and cluster headaches, etc. Usually those people feel instant, positive effect, and we say, okay, this is just amazing, and I keep using it. And we know that we do not sell for those kind of conditions, but we know that they are using it for these kinds of conditions. We're doing trials to get their certification and approval for these kinds of, conditions, but, it takes time. So right now, just basically they're using for stress, but it helps with the migraines. Yeah.
Okay, so if I were to sum up the main
Mm.
benefits of using Pulsetto, right? The
Yep.
feature is that what you're doing is you're stimulating the vagus nerve to improve stress
Yep.
levels. But
Yep.
downstream from improving stress, I would imagine you're saying that headaches and migraines improve
Yep.
according to the data you're getting back from users. I would
Yep.
assume that hormones are improving, baseline hormones, but also sleep is improving, correct?
Yeah. So we also started to collect the data, and we saw that let's say duration of sleep is not increasing, but the awake time during the night is decreasing. So let's say you sleep for 8 hours, and usually you have awake time of 45 minutes or something like this. So we see that it can lower to 30 minutes, and I would say 15 minutes or 20 minutes you get more REM or deep sleep, and this is also very important. Yeah.
Yeah. No, totally.
Mm.
That makes sense. If you
One
can be
thing,
more effective.
one thing very, very strangely, we know that around 50% of our customers have very vivid dreams when they stimulate before going to bed. And, we noticed it. And sometime we saw, okay, this might be like just like a side effect. We did like a retrospective analysis, and we saw that a lot of people are getting this. So we came with that data to neurologists and say, okay, we do not know why. We never read about this, so maybe we will plan to do a study on that side. Yeah.
Mhm. And so, speaking of studies, how do you
Yeah.
actually validate the effectiveness of Pulsetto's technology on all the markers you mentioned?
Yeah. So I would say the most easiest way to measure is if you have a wearable device like Apple Health, Oura Ring, Whoop Strap, and you measure your some metrics, biometrics, usually heart rate variability, resting heart rate, your sleep score, and all these three metrics can be increased. So heart rate variability is increasing, resting heart rate is decreasing, and sleep score is increasing. So it's very easy. We say, okay, if you have a data, you are a perfect customer to us because we know that we can improve these metrics.
Mhm.
And when we did not have this data, we said, okay, you can check, cross check on the applications, etc. But right now it's easier because we can show this data to you.
Yeah, that is really good in a day and age where data is readily
Yeah,
available, especially with Oura Ring and some of the Apple Health apps and more technologies that are coming available like Whoop and others. It's easy for you to see a difference week over week. So if you
yeah,
start using Pulsetto for, let's say, 2 to 3 weeks, and then you compare month over month to see what's changed, if you see a marked difference, then this is obviously making a positive difference to you. So that's the positive benefit of
yeah,
using something like this because you can measure pretty quickly
yeah,
against yourself. You don't have to worry about some study that was done on some people in Norway or in a country
yeah,
where everybody's calm and relaxed, right? It's more about in America when you're living a tough life and there's a lot going on and you have kids and you have emails and things to do. It's can you make a measurable impact with as little time as possible And is that where your dollar should be going? So that's a question consumers will ask themselves. And seems to me that this is a great technology that can help reduce stress levels and all the other benefits that come with that in a world that has more and more stress as time goes on. So
Yeah. So
what, go ahead.
yeah, the best data is your data, and on
Yeah.
that data you can improve. Because as you mentioned, you do not know the people on which it was created. But when you have all your data and you know yourself quite well, usually you can, let's say, also retrospectively check, okay, if I'm feeling better or worse. Yeah, if your data is not available right now. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
what makes Pulsetto different from other competitors or similar devices on the market?
So, if you ask me, let's say like a half of a year ago, I would say, okay, we're competing in a neuromodulation market with other devices in vagus nerve stimulation field. But our main advantage is that we're bilateral stimulation, so stimulating vagus nerve from both sides.
Hmm.
We are the first device in the market which are doing this. We're the first device which is in-app controlled and also data driven. So we're basically showing the data from other wearable devices. Yeah. So and the wearable device. There are some devices on the market which are holdable. You can stimulate, but you have to hold something on your forehead or in your ear. And these things complicate. So we try to reduce the friction. You can apply the device, put it on your neck, and do other things, and try to improve your, let's say, longevity and forget basically.
Hmm.
We do not like to take your time from your day-to-day tasks because it's very hard, to intertwine in some ways to your routine. So we're trying
Yeah.
to adapt to your current routine. But basically the goal is become like a digital toothbrush.
Hmm.
When
Hmm.
you're brushing your teeth, put the device, stimulate it. When you're brushing your teeth in the evening, also put the device, stimulate it, and that's it.
Yeah. No, this
Yeah,
is quite easy. Like you can do
yeah,
it. Brushing your teeth takes 2 minutes. Then you're
mm,
gonna apply
yeah,
some serum on your face or
mhm,
your
yeah,
nighttime routine. So that's gonna take 4 minutes, and that's probably you can just do it there in the
yeah,
evening. It can be quite easy. And so the point that you made, as I think well taken, is you have to have as little friction for the user to use the device as possible. Now, the next iteration, I have some ideas for the next iteration of the device, which is you make it so it's a drone, so it flies and it attaches to your neck automatically. The gel gets applied and it turns on by itself, and you don't have to do anything, right? But that's like maybe 10 years out.
yeah,
So that would be
yeah.
interesting. What kind of feedback have you heard from users that are using Pulsetto? What kind of success stories have you heard? Tell us some stories.
So, with migraines, it's quite clear. Do you have head pain? You do not have head pain, but usually the stories on which you never thought makes the biggest impact because I had let's say like one user who came to me after using it for a couple of weeks, and she said that I do not have road rage. And that was fascinating to her and to me
Mm,
because you never connect that road rage. It might be just overstressed. You're constantly on the edge. And she said, I can drive my children to work, to kindergarten, and they are not afraid of me. That I'm, yelling in a traffic jam. That was
mhm.
very pleasing story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So head pains. People who had uh, insomnias. We had they said, okay, this is basically amazing that I can sleep. I'm not roaming around during the night. I'm not awakening my spouse or etc. And these are the stories, small things that basically gives us a motivation to move forward. And of course, uh, co-founder's wife, she's happy. That
Yeah.
is the story on which we can also constantly come back because we have a person who is using it day to day and just has less of I would say cluster head attacks like this. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. again, in the world of biohacking, there is so much more to be done, and
Yeah.
it's very exciting to see new companies that are creating now wearable devices that can make a significant impact to your stress levels, but also improve the quality of your life. I would assume that, being a early company, I guess, in this space, you
Yeah.
are constantly thinking of new product features and new updates to add to the roadmap. So how are you thinking about that? Is user feedback being taken into account? And what new features can people expect in the next year, 2 years from your company?
It's in some cases hard question because we have several things. We have a device, the functionality of it, ability, the firmware, hardware, and software.
Yeah.
But I would say user will notice the most on the software. So building habits in the application, providing more insights on your data. Because I know how to check my apps and know when I'm getting sick. So I would like to do like a recommendation settings. Okay, you need to stimulate it in that side just to reduce the stress levels, and you will have better immunity. But of course, the goal is to create a closed loop system. We get the readings from some Apple Watch, or something. The data is looped, and we are constantly, let's say, like iterating and creating your own unique signal. It might be we're stimulating at 4,600 hertz every 6 to 10 seconds every pulse, but we see, okay, this is better for you, and we would like to create a closed loop system. But I'm engineer, biomedical engineer, so it's like a dream come true would be, but very hard to implement, I would say, and very hard to get the amount of data to create this kind of system. But we have quite a huge user base, so now I would say it's possible. Yeah. So uh,
Yeah, that's great to hear. It looks like you guys are
mm,
growing pretty fast, and that's also always exciting for a young
yeah,
company. And
yeah,
so, I'm impressed by the device so far. It looks like, again, it's
mm,
it's you wear it on the outside. It's easy to turn on.
mm,
It's easy to use.
yeah,
It only takes 4 minutes in the morning and 4 minutes in the evening. You can use more if you want, but it stimulates the vagus nerve, so it reduces your stress levels, your hormones, your sleep, and improves your markers that can be measured by other apps, so you know that it's
yeah.
making a difference for you. With that said, where can people get this device, and yeah, where would they go to learn more about this and also buy this device for themselves?
So you can visit our website. It's pulsetto.tech. I would guess it will be in show notes.
Mhm.
Uh, if you need more information, you can find it on our website. You can contact me directly on LinkedIn. I always prefer, if you have some questions or maybe some ideas, we're open to all the things, all the possible alleyways, because we have a lot of patient organizations who are trying to do studies with our device. So we welcome all of these things, because sometimes you do not know on which side you can improve, or what kind of market you can open, and maybe to create specific things to measure, to provide in the app, so that people could see the results faster. So because stimulation is one unique thing that basically it connects to all the organs, and you can tackle different conditions. So it's a it seems like one device can do multiple things at once, and that is, the thing that drives us, because we know that it's almost endless opportunity to tackle different conditions. Yeah.
Yeah, which that's very
Mm,
interesting because a
mm,
lot of this is happening through the brain and the central nervous
yeah.
system. So if you can get to the root cause
Yeah.
before everything starts, you can impact a lot of conditions. Again, not making any claims, but the future looks very promising in this
Yeah.
area or sphere. So you can find the device on pulsetto.tech, so pulsetto.tech. And of course, feel free to connect with Povilas as well on LinkedIn as well. So Povilas,
Yeah.
thank you for coming on the Anti-Aging Hack Show and sharing about your device.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure.